Never-Ending Chain by Dragon Translator, Chapter 61. Two Brothers Talk. Hiccup chuckled, scratching the sides of Moondust's head. Over her wing, he saw his dragon brother watching with an expression that said Toothless was stuck into silence by what he was seeing. Sharpshot chuckled. "Stay back," he whispered. Moondust lifted her head, staring at Sharpshot. "Stay back for what?" Hiccup bit his bottom lip to keep from snorting or laughing or both. Sharpshot shifted a bit but did not respond. Moondust looked at Hiccup. "I don't understand, Alpha." Hiccup smiled. "Sharpshot's just messing with Toothless. Don't mind him." Moondust stared at Sharpshot, then curled her neck and looked over her wing at Toothless. Due to how she shifted, Hiccup could not see what his brother was doing. Moondust turned back to Hiccup. "Nails," she muttered. Hiccup did not point out that her comment could have included him, as she did not specify dragons. He tilted his head instead. "Where would you like to live?" he asked. Moondust dropped her hind end on the ground. Hiccup kept grinning as her sensing lobes, all slightly shorter than Toothless's, twitched. He wondered if it was just something night furies did, as he'd seen Toothless's brother and sister-in-law do similar over the course of their visit. Moondust sighed. "I do not know. I did not think I would gather the courage to ask you, my Alpha. I never thought past that point." "Moondust," Gita said from where she and her family sat under Toothless's tree. "You can live with me, if you wish." Hiccup turned to the mage. Just after Stoic declared Bearspit guilty over every charge laid against him and exiled him, Hiccup and the other riders had gotten Gita out of the village on Stoic's whispered order. Gita wanted to kill Bearspit, and while she had every right to, Stoic knew her magic would come to bear. Padrick, Hilda, and Bainson still did not know of Gita's true origins, and had yet to prove themselves completely trustworthy enough to learn the truth of the dragons. "You're sure?" Hiccup asked, watching Icewing and her brothers play with the fireworm hatchlings Wildfire had befriended when everyone had to stay in the cove the day after the Speedstinger's invasion attempt. "I'm sure." Hiccup looked back to Moondust. "Will that work? We could find a cave if you'd rather have that." Moondust cooed and nuzzled against him. "That you ask instead of order shows your kindness and wisdom, my Alpha." A sharp chirp sounded in the cove. Moondust lifted her head. Hiccup turned back to the mage. Icewing, none the worse for wear after everything that happened, stood next to Gita's boot. Her wings, now caught up with Snowfire's as his nubs unfurled first, flared. She stomped her tiny paws and chittered. Moon tilted her head. "The hatchling is saying I should ask before touching you." "It's something we told the young of the nest to do before jumping onto me," Hiccup said. "I don't want any of them to jump and I'm unaware and working in the forge. I don't want them hurt."
"Sensible," Moondust said before bowing to Hiccup once more. "Thank you, my Alpha. I think I would like to live with the Mage Elder, if I may."
Hiccup smiled.
"Welcome home then, Moondust."
Moondust cooed, and then walked over to Gita. Hiccup heard her thank the mage, but his focus turned to Toothless as his dragon brother walked down the cove towards the fireworm's cave. Astrid, standing with Stormfly, Windwalker, and Sneaky, next to the rock she and Hiccup told each other their feelings, also watched him. She turned back to Hiccup. He shook his head and walked over to his brother. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw Fishlegs look up from where he, Meatlug, and Boulder were talking in low tones next to the cove's north wall. Hiccup shook his head again. Both Astrid and Fishlegs turned back to their dragons. Hiccup sat down next to Toothless, in the same spot they had sat in right after the invasion attempt. He noted the twins and their dragons were engrossed in something Tough was writing in the dirt next to the far end of the pond. Snotlout and both Nightmares were asleep in a stray sunbeam just up from the twins and the Zipplebacks. Satisfied that all his friends were occupied and not likely to interfere, Hiccup opened his mouth. "Sharpshot,
Why don't you and Sneaky spend some time together?
Sharpshot snorted. Sharpshot, he said, his voice affecting an odd accent. Please leave so I can speak sense into Toothless. Sure thing, brother. He finished the last 3 words sounding like himself. Hiccup swallowed his chuckle, knowing Toothless would take a dim view, even if the Night Fury brought it on himself. Hiccup swallowed his chuckle, knowing Toothless would take a dim view, even if the Night Fury brought it all on himself, with his teasing over Hiccup and Astrid's relationship, and Sharpshot's courting Sneaky. Sharpshot flew off. Sneaky joined him in the tree above Gita. Hiccup turned to Toothless.
Don't. You have no idea what I'm going to say, Toothless. Toothless snorted. She was just run out of her nest due to a male who thought his rank meant he could have whatever he wanted. She will not welcome my advances, brother. Does this mean you've actually thought about seeking permission to court her? Hiccup asked. Toothless heaved a deep sigh and looked away. She intrigues me, and I saw her valor as we fought the Tailstingers. Hiccup smiled. He reached over and ran his fingers along the top of Toothless's head. You'll never treat her like that male did. I think she knows that. Why don't you two start off getting to know each other as friends? And see where it goes.
Toothless shifted his head and stared at Hiccup.
That male will not like it that she left instead of submitting to him. He'll seek her out. Hiccup's eyes narrowed. Let him, he said, letting the thing within his soul code his words.
While he hated the power it held over the nest dragons, he realized it did effectively get his point across, and could serve to throw someone off enough that unnecessary bloodshed could be avoided.
I have a few words to say to someone who can't take no for an answer.
Toothless's eyes became slits.
Good, he said. So do I.
End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed this one. I like that Toothless is having this doubt. It proves why he's a better match for Moondust than the other dick, basically. I'm not normally one to call someone that, but that Night Fury was being a dick. Anyway, yeah, you guys know the drill. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell to get notified for whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Bye, my guys, gals, and albino pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.